Alright, it's time to build a new modified for the Strange Brew series in the Showdown. We're going to use this 1/32 scale kit, this Ford that we talked about already. Just a great car, and it's going to make a great modified. Now, other than the kit choice, I really don't know where I'm going with this design-wise, so it might be a little fun. If you want to follow along, let's just get started, see what we can do. I tell you, there's nothing like the smell of ground plastic in the morning. Smells like victory. It's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to start with some body modifications. I don't know exactly how far I'm going to go yet, but I do know got to get rid of this plastic here around the rear wheel openings because we're not using the fenders. I know I want to get rid of the side hood panels here to expose the engine, and I might open things up right around here in the roof just a little bit for that old modified look you might be familiar with. So let's just get things fired up. Standard size sanding barrel in your Dremel right here. Make quick work of this. I've done a little bit, but I'll show you. Just getting through here. Doesn't take very long, does it? Right through it. And that's the thing, is you want to be careful using the Dremel. It works great. But now, stop a little bit. Check your area. You might want to sand this by hand. Get some coarse grit sandpaper. Start sanding by hand because this works great. And the downside is it really works great. So you can go too far. So all you have to do is just trim it a little bit. Come back and check it. And if you can, just do it by hand. So I stopped right here. And on this particular kit, I just followed the body mold line right there and just kept that radius. So I removed that much plastic. We'll turn this around and I'll show you. I've left some in place here. So you can see there's still some of that plastic there. And I sanded right there to the mold line. And right now, that might be okay. I don't know. We could go down a little bit more. Like I said, not really sure where I'm going with this just yet. But I do know I had to get rid of this, at least to get my axle in there in the bushings to get a good setup going. But I might just take away more material to lower it. But anyhow, now you can do it by hand. You can use an X-Acto blade. That's a good way to carve this out really carefully. I'll show you that too. Is just now you can start removing material and just shaving it a little bit at a time. You can still use your Dremel if you're comfortable with it, but if not, you know, good little X-Acto blade, just a little bit at a time, and you can get it right where you want it. So for work like this, I like using the cutoff discs. I like the reinforced ones. They're just a little stronger, not so prone to breaking, but you can use either or. Anyway, you can see that I've just started cutting right here. Right there's the line, the panel line where I want to go, but I don't want to go too far. So same thing with the top part. I know I want to get rid of it, but I don't want to go too far up into the hood. So we can just carefully go right here. And that's about it. Then we can pull that away. Now we could take our hobby knife or some sandpaper or a good old-fashioned flat file, and we can finish up the rest, make a nice clean set of lines. Just an example, just using your hobby knife, you know, you can just carefully remove a little bit of material. If it's a lot, a little bit too much for just filing, and just work it like that. Same thing on this side. Just careful, following your mold line. Just a little bit at a time till you get close. Just like that. Now I think a flat file will be our best friend. Yeah, we're getting really close. Just using a regular old file. Just taking our time. A bit of pressure. We're getting there. you can fine tune this. And if you don't like the big files, invest in some smaller type files like this. This is really great for getting in little spots like that. And then we'll go to the other side like this. But I'll tell you what, we're really close. We can clean these edges up now with some medium grit sandpaper. I think we'll be good to go. What do you think? And there we go. That's just enough to get us started. We're not done yet, of course, but had to get rid of some of that material in the rear there, and I wanted to remove the front. Giving me a good idea, helps my brain engage, so to speak. So now we can move on to the chassis, see what kind of trouble we can get into there. There's a couple different designs I could go with. One of them is kind of like the more stock look, or what I call highboy, and that's a really cool look too. We've built those before. Shotgun Dave's built plenty of them, and they're fun to race. But then again, I also like the more modern, late model look, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. So there's my direction. Just had to do a little thinking, drinking, and that's where we're going to go. So stay tuned for the next episode, and it's going to get fun.